Let me just get started. Hi, Sue. Good morning. Good morning. Let me just get started on today's Motivational Monday. Well, 11 of us just came back from the 2025. Hi, Jeff. Uh, 11 of us just came back from the 2025 Leaders Retreat in Sabah. And this is our 13th JC3 Leaders Retreat. The first JC3 Leaders Retreat was held in 2013. That year, we went to Siem Reap. Okay? And it's become something that we do at the start of the year. So much so that it can be regarded as a ritual. Now, what are rituals? Rituals are typically repeated regularly and can be personal, cultural, religious, or societal in nature. They serve to mark transitions, reinforce values, bring a sense of order and significance to life. Jeff, for example, has these activity rings on his Apple Watch that he completes daily. It's become his ritual. He's made it his ritual, which is why he's so fit at 35. When we go out traveling, people think he's 35. That's that's really a testimony of the routine that he has made in his life. Now, in the context of personal and leadership development, a ritual is a deliberate and structured practice or routine which is designed to foster growth, self-awareness, consistent behavior that is aligned with one's goals and values. And these rituals are often purposeful. It could be symbolic, but they're repeatable actions that help individuals cultivate discipline, clarity, and the emotional and mental states needed for effective leadership. I reflected on the result of this latest retreat in Sabah, and I identified 5 rituals worth repeating. Okay, so the first is, and I've got them all in R's, of course. Okay, so the first is review and resolution. Okay, review and resolution. Now, this took place on the first day, what we call the leaders planning day. Okay, it took place the first day when we reviewed 2024, we set goals or made resolutions for the new year. Okay, we also heard each other's blessings and dreams, and this was a precious time listening to each other's blessings and dreams, because we could acknowledge their bigness. Wow, you think like this, you've done this. And we could also query what appears to be missing or what appears to be too small. Okay, so there's that kind of freedom to be a mirror and to be accountable. Now, the second ritual is this process of what I call recreate. Recreate is about personal growth. Leadership transformation often requires leaders to recreate themselves by learning new skills, embracing change, and of course, stepping out of comfort zones. It could be the first time doing SUP or doing pottery, which is a contrast, something in the room that, not so physical, not so scary. Or it could be just sitting in the rain or sitting around in the rain when we can't do anything, it's raining. Or in the case of Sabah also, sleeping very early because we are in this camp with nothing else to do. Recreating is also habit 7 of Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Habit 7 is about sharpening the saw. We get an opportunity to sharpen our saw. Recreate is also about team building and empowerment. Now, on a retreat, various people have got different roles. Okay, and then we learn to surrender to their choices. For example, if which one is in charge of food, we generally surrender to a choice. Okay, and the retreat helps recreate team dynamics by nurturing trust, collaboration, and shared accountability. It fosters this collective growth. That's what takes place. Okay, so that's recreate. Now, the third ritual is revelation. Okay, and this refers to the personal discovery and learning that happens in structured activities or unstructured moments. For example, let me give you two examples of an unstructured moment. It's like when Hui Sun, found out that not only had she left her sunglasses at home, she had left her actual glasses at home, and she's blind as a bat without her glasses. How would she react to that situation? Okay. Or Hock Seng, who was unprepared for the wet weather at Kinabalu Park. And, something, being unprepared is something totally uncharacteristic of him. And so that was an opportunity, of discovery. Okay. Now, the fourth ritual is the renewing of bonds, okay, renew bonds. Something magical happens when we play and we chill with each other in a different context other than just talking about the business. Daily we have such limited time when we interact. It's generally about the business. And so this was a powerful reminder about relationships, about memories, about emotions that we create when we are with each other. And lastly, the fifth ritual is that the Leaders Retreat is a regular report card on your progress as a leader. The key word is progress, okay? And progress that represents the slight edge philosophy of success. Okay? It's progress applying what Tony Robbins advocates, Kenny, continuous and never-ending improvement. And then it also is assessing how sharp or how dull is your saw, and what you can do about it as a result of what happens on the trip. So it's a report card. Okay, it's like the SCS. Okay, I chose SCS because I just talked about S, the slight edge philosophy, Kenny, continuous and never ending, C, and your saw, S. Okay, SCS. So SCS is like you monitor the progress of your skin carotenoid score, isn't it? SCS, your skin carotenoid score. You want to see it continuously going up. When your customer is on a TRME program, you're monitoring the skin carotenoid score. It's very exciting to see it go up from the red zone, eventually going up to the blue zone. Okay. Now, I want to share 5 S's in my report card, and of course, when I do a full reaction, there's a lot, a reflection, there's a lot more, but these are the 5 things that stand out to me. The first thing in my report card was SUP. Now, we've been doing SUP for 3 years already. I've even progressed to racing 8 kilometers, which I did yesterday. But this was the first time doing whitewater SUP. And so in my report card, there's a surprise. Okay, so it was I thought what could be new about SUP? Okay, whitewater SUP. Okay. The second S is the sharing session. So we had 2 opportunities to sit down, huddle together, and get feedback from each other that was both uplifting and enriching. And it's really, really a learning opportunity and a heartwarming opportunity to hear how people are affected. The third S is surrender. So that's a big thing on these trips. We surrendered to the itinerary, whether it's the choice of accommodation, the choice of activities, or the food. We just surrendered to that. We surrendered to the weather. Okay, we surrendered to impromptu suggestions. Let's have a barbecue, or let's have a time of sharing. Let's go shopping. Let's go to the canopy walk, or we can't do that. Let's go to the waterfall. And there's a magic when there's surrender, because when life is an enrollment game, and enrollment is a long process, and if you can spend so much time enrolling that there's no time to do the activity, and the learning is actually from the doing. So that's a very, very precious thing. Okay, so we surrender when we want to, when we want to be surprised again. The fourth S is sharing. Now, what I mean by sharing is, for example, we are invited 3 Czech hikers. They were complete strangers that happened to be living in the same resort. They just come in for a night stay, and we invited three of them to join our dinner. Now, what's the big deal about that? Well, when you look at how big these Amors are, they could eat the whole meal, but we invited them to join our dinner. We were generous with our tips. And so this sharing showed that we operated from abundance, not scarcity. Okay, yeah, operated from abundance, not scarcity. And the reason why we want to do network marketing is because it's unlimited potential. Okay, we don't have to keep in reserve. There's fresh, what we call manna, fresh blessing, fresh income coming in all the time. Okay, and so the big deal about this sharing is that we actually walk the talk of grace. Okay, we walk the talk of grace. We talk about intention plus action plus grace. We, were the givers of grace, not just always receiving grace. And my last S is a Malay word, senang. Okay, senang, easy. So it was an easy trip this time. It was easy physically, it was easy mentally, and it was, really easy emotionally. Why was it easy? Okay, if you look at the itinerary down there, some of you will think, wow, it's very difficult, whitewater rafting, SUPing and being thrown into the water so many times, experienced people, trekking up and down, walking in the rain. What's so easy about it? Kept sleeping outdoors, with mosquitoes. What's so easy about that? Well, why was it easy? Because we have grown, we have transformed, we've been stretched. What actually used to be uncomfortable has become comfortable. And so I recall what Jim Rohn said: don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. It's about getting better. So these are my humble reflections on how rituals are useful to create long-term results in life, and how an annual retreat is actually a very, very special ritual for leaders. Now, I got a couple of minutes, and so these are my reflections. Now, since I pay a subscription to ChatGPT, I asked ChatGPT, because ChatGPT gets the thoughts of many, many people around this world. So I asked ChatGPT why rituals are important for leaders, and this is what it says. Okay, it builds resilience. Okay? Rituals create stability and focus amidst uncertainty or stress. Rituals enhance self-discipline. Consistent practices develop habits that strengthen decision-making and follow through. Rituals strengthen identity. They affirm a leader's commitment to their values, role, and purpose. Rituals foster connection. Okay? Personal rituals can extend into group or team rituals, fostering unity and shared purpose. By integrating meaningful rituals, leaders can cultivate the inner qualities and outward behaviors essential for inspiring and guiding others effectively. Okay, so that's from ChatGPT. And for those of you who've been on this retreat, I know you will say amen, because this and more went through. Okay, so your input actually can add to ChatGPT's feedback, which is actually not as much as yours.